Hello, 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 and welcome to Starting the Day the Right Way 5-minute devotion for March 31st, 2021. Can you believe it? 3 months down already. All right, so tonight I want to talk about perspective, okay? And we're going to start off with this, okay? Which is the bigger one? Now looking, you might think red. I would ask you to think again. Are you sure that the red one was the bigger one? Are you sure that the blue is the bigger one? Or is it they're exactly the same size? Isn't that crazy, right? I do this sometimes when I hand out tracts as I'm writing on the back. And I did that for my little guy today. And he was sure that it was red. And I said, before I did the switch, I said, no, I'm telling you, it's not. He's like, Daddy, I'm looking right at it. And I said, okay. I said, what if I do this? And I switched it around. And he said, what? No, wait a minute. Do that again. I said, all right. I said, which is the, and I did it again. And I said the same exact thing. I said, they're actually the same size. I said, it's called an optical illusion. He's like, well, what's that? I said, things appear one way when in actuality, there's something else. And so he's like, wow. And it just kind of blew his mind. So it led me to thinking about perspective. And, there's been a lot of, for myself this week personally, coming up to Easter, but especially coming up to Thursday and Friday, there's a lot of introspecting that I've been doing and just like really trying to press in and there's no way I could possibly know what Jesus was feeling, but just to try and put myself there in the garden to observe what he was experiencing. So God led me to this verse tonight, Ephesians 2:16 through 18. And it says this from the Message. Christ brought us together through his death on the cross. The cross got us to embrace, and that was the end of the hostility. Christ came and preached peace to you outsiders and peace to us insiders. So the outsiders being the Gentiles and the insiders being the Jews. He treated us as equals and so made us equals. Through him, we both share the same spirit and now have equal access to the Father. Perspective, okay? It is hard living in this world today, and just to get the proper perspective on things. I mean, you really have to shut things down, sit in a quiet space, and you have to ask, whose perspective are you going after? Are you going after man's perspective, or are you seeking God's perspective? Okay. Now, thinking about this throughout this week, if we were there, right? If we were Jesus, right? Or if we were Jesus's apostles and his friends, we'd be looking at what was going on and say, how can anything possibly come good from this, right? Once Jesus was arrested, quick trial and whipping and bruising and beating and spitting and cursing and hanging on the cross, right? And all happened so fast, right? Before you even knew what had happened, Jesus was tried, found guilty, and hung on the cross. And from that perspective, there is nothing good about that, right? But Jesus wasn't looking from that perspective. Okay, he was praying in the garden, is there any other way? And they knew this night was coming for all of eternity, since the beginning of time, since they created the heavens and the earth. They knew that this moment was coming, but there was that last minute prayer of, is there any other way? Has anybody come up with a different way that we can do this? And there was no other way. And Jesus knew that. He knew that. So he prayed asking for a different way. He prayed asking for strength. And in the end, what drove him? His love for us. I mean, think about that. He loved us so much that he willingly went to the cross. He could have called down a legion of angels immediately at any point in that trial, at any point in time before he got up on that cross. But he didn't. Why? Because he wanted to restore the relationship that was there in the garden. He wanted to commune with us. He wanted to restore and end all the hostility that exists between man and God. And he did that, right? But it took the perspective that he had, the spiritual perspective, the godly perspective on the whole matter, to know the beginning from the end, right? Now, when we're living here and walking here on this earth, we're not going to know the beginning from the end, but we do have the Holy Spirit who will guide us step by step by step, giving us that heavenly perspective. Okay, so press into that. Okay, press into God's perspective on the matter. Press in on what God says on the matter in your finances, in your health, in your relationships. Okay, because today more than ever, we need God's perspective on matters, not man's perspective. All right. I hope this was a blessing to you. Easter is coming this Sunday. If you do not have a church home to go to, I would invite you to, I go to Forward Church down at Ground Zero in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, 904 Chester Avenue. We are going to have an awesome service with an awesome message this week. Service starts at 11. We have a great worship team. And we're going to have things for the kids to do, food trucks after service. So it's going to be an awesome time. So if you don't have a place to go, come on down and just really have an awesome day. All right. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.